Hey, hey, hey. Welcome back to the AudaSEWtea podcast featuring your host, Aaronica B. Cole. And if you notice that we started off a little bit differently because Julian is normally the one who kicks us off, it's because Julian's voice has been playing games with him and will not let him be great. So instead of stressing his voice out even more, I decided to propose that my husband be our guest host for this week. Now, my husband is sitting here. He's a little nervous, but I know that he's going to do fantastically. So, who is it that is on here with me today? This is your turn to speak.
Oh, okay. Well, I am the husband. I'm Denver, so I am the guest host for today, trying to fill in for Julian. Keyword is trying. I'm going to do as best I can to fill in for the co-host, Julian.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you actually listen to our podcast?
Yeah,
Are you just saying that because you love me, or do you actually listen to our podcast?
both.
Oh, okay. Well, that's awesome. I love that for us. I love that for us. Okay, so we're going to kick off, of course, with our Am I the Asshole? And you get to react first to it. So, am I the asshole for ruining my boyfriend's jeans? I, 32 female, like to sew sometimes in my spare time. It's not something I do very often, but I sometimes sew new clothes for our son and once in a while something for myself. This morning I found my boyfriend's male 31 jeans at my sewing desk, and I remember that he had mentioned that he wanted me to sew them into a pair of shorts. I immediately brought them into the living room with a pair of scissors, and together we found out where I should cut them. I did, but then when they were cut, they suddenly looked a bit too short. My boyfriend got angry that I ruined his jeans and scolded me for being sloppy and not doing proper research before cutting into the jeans. My response was that we did it together, that he had agreed with me, so it's not my fault. It didn't turn out as he had hoped. He made suggestions as how I could fix my mistake by sewing on more fabric, etc. But I said I didn't want to spend a lot of time sewing his jeans. He's now angry at me for having ruined his jeans, and I'm angry at him for expecting me to spend a lot of time sewing something for him that I didn't even volunteer to do. He said it's hurtful and that he feels like I don't care about him when I can spend ages making something nice for myself, but that I don't want to make him anything. For context, I have ADHD, so the times I spend ages creating something, it's because of my hyperfocus and not really a genuine interest in the hobby. So, am I the asshole for not wanting to fix my boyfriend's shorts after ruining his jeans?
Hmm. So that's interesting. I would have originally, I think I would have said no, she wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, But I think maybe there's, from his standpoint, I think there's some validity. It seems
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, you can spend, and granted, it's a hyper focus, like you mentioned, but she can still spend a lot of time on other projects. And I think, granted, they made the mistake together, but I still think she could have at least tried what he mentioned
Mm-hmm.
to try to fix it. Just for the fact that, like I said, she does spend time on other aspects. And I think he was in the wrong for like getting mad at her when they both decided to do it together. But
Yeah.
I think she could have, said, "Oh well, we made a mistake. Let me at least try something here and fix it." But I think she was just upset about his reaction, so I can see why she was like, "I'm not."
I'm gonna go with that she's not the asshole. I don't think that I don't think that just because you have a skill set, you have to share it with other people.
No, but I mean, she did offer. He said, "Oh, let me." He said, "Hey, can you fix this?" She said, "Yes." So it's not like she.
She didn't offer.
No,
He
he
asked.
asked, and she said yes. So I mean, if she's like, "I don't want to share my skill set with you," she let him
Yeah, but and do feel like she would be more amenable to fixing it if he hadn't like jumped
Right.
down her throat.
Right, exactly.
But I also think that hyper focus, like one, it's so much easier to hyper focus on things that you feel comfortable with, right? Like he said that she takes ages to create something for herself, not necessarily their kid or anything like that,
Yeah.
but for herself. And it's a lot easier to hyper focus on something that you're comfortable with as opposed to trying something new, right? Like you sit in your comfort zone and that's what's easiest for you. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
As opposed to being like, oh, well, let me like hyper focus on a brand new skill set because no one like And I hyper focus, but I don't ever hyper focus on anything that's new, right? Like I only hyper focus on the things that I'm comfortable with.
But right, agreed. But like, I think his viewpoint was more along like lines of like we don't have to hyper focus on this aspect. We can just try to fix it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think if he were to be honest, apologize, like, look, I'm sorry for coming at you this way. Could you just try to fix it? I think,
Hmm.
and I think she should. Yeah. But I think the first piece of him to would be on him to apologize, saying,
Hmm.
"Oh, I didn't mean to come at you like that, but
Hmm.
hey, we messed this up together, and so is there any way we can fix this, or just try to turn these into shorts at this point, right?" Uh, so yeah, I don't think it's her fault when they both decided to do it together. So I don't think
Hmm.
I don't think she's in the wrong in that aspect, but I think she could try in that sense.
Yeah. I mean, also it's Hoochie Daddy season, so he should also be really grateful that she gave him the opportunity to show off his thighs.
Yeah, but I mean, one, who knows if he has thighs? So that could be like something insecure
Who
about.
knows if he has thighs? Oh my God. Like,
Well,
what?
if he has chicken legs, he might feel some kind of way about it. If he doesn't have, the thighs to show off, or chicken legs, and maybe feel some kind of way about it.
Mm.
So, and plus, we've all seen those like, you know, super cut low shorts on like, jean shorts, and like,
How?
you know,
I'm not gonna lie. I love a super, super short, especially on your thighs.
appreciate that, but still,
Yeah. So you're saying she's somewhat the asshole?
initially no, but
Mm,
I think they're both in the wrong to be honest.
okay.
But yeah.
So in truth, that's actually what most people voted, that everyone sucks. So, so you were not too far off. So, I had a couple of people submit questions via Instagram because, um, of course, Julian could not make it. And I figured that we could go ahead and jump into some of those questions because, like, there are some good questions here.
Oh, okay.
We got some good questions. Even Julian asked a question as well. So I put questions up in two different spots. So we're gonna start off with the questions that were asked in my actual stories because they were asked first. So, are you ready?
I hope so.
So the first question is, what is your favorite thing about being married to a creative?
Favorite thing. Well, I don't have to worry about my shorts being ruined. So I think that's probably still up there. Um, I think it's a perspective. I guess I'm not saying I'm not creative, but I don't have the creative mind like my wife. So I think the perspective of seeing things from a different view that I myself would not have seen, I think is probably still one of my favorite things. So for me, I think the creative side of viewing things like a different light
Mm.
is still pretty good. It's still one of my favorite things. Is I
Oh.
can look at it 10 ways and still not see it that way. And she'll look at it once and be like, oh, let's try this. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, shoot, I can see that. So yeah,
Mm. I'm also a master of Tetris, so there's that.
master of Tetris.
Hmm.
Where do you play Tetris?
I mean, like, I definitely grew up on Tetris. Where are you trying to play me right now?
Girl, I don't play Tetris so much. You know?
All the time. Definitely had a Game Boy. Here is a high quality question.
Okay.
Will you ever get a tattoo?
Who asked the question? Who put that? Is that yours? Yours? You put that in there.
No. Mm-mm.
Which one are you referring? Which friend did you ask to ask that question?
It may be my friend who actually has matching tattoo with her husband.
Oh, see,
Mm,
you probably put it out there, but like,
I did not.
yeah.
I mean, I did happen to talk to her about it.
Oh, right, right. It's
We did
amazing.
have a
But yeah,
conversation about the tattoo.
right. So you casually mentioned to your friend who has a matching tattoo with her husband, hey, I got a tattoo and my husband does not have any tattoos.
No, it was more like I want my husband and I to get these matching tattoos. She's the one who I was telling you has the dagger. And
This is the fourth one.
no, hello, this is from Throne of Glass. Oh my gosh. Who did I marry? Anyway, but when I told her about the idea, she was like, "Oh, that is so great." She's the one who got the matching bird on her arm because I forget which that it is, mates for life. And you were like, "Oh, that's nice. I didn't know that." Yeah.
Mm.
So stop trying to beat around the bush.
She didn't drop a bug in her ear.
No,
Okay. It really sounds like you dropped a bug in
I
her ear
didn't.
in this situation.
I mean, maybe if you paid attention to me on Instagram, you would see that I didn't have to.
When you send me stuff on Instagram.
Hmm.
Okay.
So,
What was the question again? I'm sorry, I
will
forgot.
he ever get a tattoo?
I mean, I just never say never. It sounds out there, some way, shape, or form.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think it's bad. Say I would never say never.
So, what is your favorite thing that I have made and why?
I guess for me, for you, just in general.
Just in general.
Um, that's a tricky question. There are a lot of pieces that you made. Uh, hmm, I guess one of each. For me, I still like the black, like the all black sweater.
Mm,
Um, I think a slimmer version of me used to wear it all the time. So I still like it because it still fits pretty well. But I think I'm gonna get another few pounds now. I can get back into that sweater. Yeah, but yeah, I think that's still my favorite piece you made for me. Uh, piece that you made for yourself. Oh, I like your bustier that you made.
which
That you
one?
wore to the wedding. It's like the leather one.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I like that one too. I have to fix it.
yeah,
Okay.
pretty nice.
Thanks. Okay. So, someone wants to know your version of how we met. Tell the truth, please.
My version of how we met.
Yes. We'll just go with how we met, not how we started dating or how
Uh,
you stood me up.
See, that's
They're asking for the truth.
well, the truth is I didn't stand you up.
The question was how we met. Stay
Well, I mean,
focused.
oh, okay, well, I mean that's simple. We met at work.
Hmm.
Your first day was June 11th. Um, and we were brought back and introduced everybody, and we met at work one time.
Yep. It's true.
So
It's true.
yeah,
So Trisha wants to know.
I'm gonna jump back. You said that, so that didn't actually happen.
It did happen.
It did not. So like you can't stand somebody up. Granted, I'll take responsibility, and I was running late. But if said person gives you the wrong phone number, that almost seems like you stood me up.
No,
Because like if I
I
ask,
shouldn't have even needed to give you my phone number when we made plans to meet at a certain time at a certain place.
so if like I got in a car accident and something like that would have happened, and you're like,
If you got into a car accident, will you be texting me or calling me?
I mean, to say, hey, I'm not gonna make it. Yeah, like it's like so long as I'm not like in the hospital or something like that. Yeah, but I mean, if I was like, oh man, I got a fender bender or something happening, let me text, my date. Then hey, I'm gonna be running late.
I mean, maybe if you hadn't waited so long to ask me for my phone number, I wouldn't have been so nervous when you finally did.
Again, you should know your phone number if you're gonna give it to somebody.
I was nervous.
I mean, it's not on me.
I feel like it is.
How is it nervous? I asked you for your phone number. You've had that phone number for like 8, 9 years before you knew it, and then you forget it just when I asked you for it.
That's how nervous you made me.
Okay.
Hmm. Does he sew?
Does he so? I've sewn on buttons on my jacket that have fallen off, and that is the extent of my sewing skills. Uh,
That's more sewing than I've done with buttons. I've sewn buttons on like that dress that I made Kalima one time. And I was like, you know what? I don't even need to be making things with buttons because buttons really aren't that important.
Buttons actually easier than zippers, in my opinion.
Oh, well, yes. Definitely for
Zippers are
sure.
simple. So like
For sure.
stitching on buttons is just like X pattern and
Hmm.
good to go.
Nice. I like that you know the X pattern. Okay, so now we're going into my channel, which is where I get to have like more intimate conversations with people. It's like a group chat. So, someone asks, do you find it frustrating dealing with all the unused fabric?
100%.
Wow.
I'm not gonna.
Perhaps I will not use any fabric on you.
I'm sorry. Okay. I mean, no. It's
I
just
can't believe you said 100% like that. Why is it frustrating that I have these fantastic fabrics in the house?
it's not the fabrics, it's the scraps. It's the
Oh, the
scraps.
scraps are very
It's
frustrating in truth.
finding things
I
for
agree
the
with that.
scraps is the hardest part. Not the fabric itself, it's just the scraps.
Oh my God, I had so much fun making those little fabric scrap bookmarks today.
Oh, for the kid, yeah.
Yeah, that was so fun.
See, the cool ideas like that are good, but I mean, like, there's still a lot of scraps to deal with either
There are a
way.
lot of scraps to it.
I wish it was a better, recyclable option for scraps.
Yeah,
Uh,
because like I have the bags that I got for the
See, I think those are good when you have repeat, like for like scraps that,
yeah, but I feel like I filled up that one like literally in like 2 days.
yeah, but that's like, right, exactly. So like that's, one of your sewing weekends can fill up like
Yeah,
that. So unless you're gonna do it like every week, I mean, it's feasible. I'm not sure what, the ins and out of it, but it's just
yeah,
the scraps.
yeah.
So I'm sure it's like a giant shredder or some way to
To make
either
it
recycle
easier
it
to
or
recycle it. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Okay. What was the moment you realized your partner had found their passion?
Hmm. I would say back when I said you got your first surgery.
Mm,
And it was like one, the excitement to get it,
hmm.
um, and two, just like how sick gung ho you're ready to like, oh yeah, but I can do all these different projects, and like you were like planning out 1,001 things to do with it, like as soon as you got it. And I was like, man, I've never been that excited much of anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's like how excited I was like, yeah. So I think that's when I noticed like, okay, this is sewing is your calling. So
that's so funny because like it's National Serger Month.
oh, this month?
Yeah. And I'm giving away a serger like to celebrate.
Oh, wow, okay.
And so I've been recording like just like these like daily like tips on how you can do different skills on the serger. And like recording them has been so fun because it takes me back to when either I first learned how to use my serger or like first learned the skill and how excited I was to do that. You know what I mean? So I think that that's funny because of course like working with the serger is top on my mind right now too.
Mm.
Okay, this is from Julian. Do you ever find random needles or pins around the house?
In around the house, no.
Hmm.
Um, in your office and
Yeah, Aurora's room.
Aurora's room, all the time. I stepped on God knows how many needles.
Those needles, ooh, and the needles, they just hurt in a different type of a way.
Yeah, I don't. It's like this sharp pain that shoots all the way up. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
like debilitating. It's so small. It's just like
A life.
yeah, like your life flashes before your eyes every needle you step on. Because as your knee buckles, you're like, please don't hit anything.
Right?
Please don't down
Let
today.
this be the only needle here.
Right. Because God knows you step backward, you step another one, and who knows, So yeah, that was
Oh my God, I remember one day I stepped on a needle and I was like hobbling out the kitchen and I couldn't reach it because it was like in my heel in a weird way. And I had to call Bo over and I was like, Bo, can you please take the needle out of mommy's heel?
didn't you?
And he was like, oh, there's a needle in your heel.
I got it, mommy. I got it, mommy. Yeah. Oh, go to the rescue on that one.
I know, he's amazing. Okay. How do I get my non-sewing spouse to see my sewing journey's importance?
How do you? get your non-sewing spouse to see your sewing journeys as important? Um, it's a good question.
That is a good question.
Um, I guess if your spouse knows that the importance of it to you, that's not just like, um, I mean, even hobbies, it should still be, if it's important to your spouse, it should still be something that you support because again, it's still an outlet for your person. But if it's a journey that you're serious about and you want to kind of put a lot of time and effort into to get better at, just like anything you're learning or any skill you want to get better at and kind of strengthening yourself in some way, shape, or form, then I think as long as your spouse understands that, hey, this is not just like a passing, hobby, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a fly by night kind of thing. It's something that I really enjoy, something I want to get better at, and something I want to put a lot of time and effort into because it's a skill I want to develop. Then, that should be
Hmm.
on your person to understand, like, okay, this is not just like, you know, oh, this week my kid likes peanut butter, and next week it's
Right,
not.
right.
And it's not something I know is going to go away in a week or, a few days. That, okay, this is something important. So let me support her or spouse or whoever is in that sense because this is something that's important to her. So if it's important to my spouse, then I'm going to support her in any way, shape, or form I can.
Yeah.
Just so it's not like, and let it be known that, this is something I'm going to put a lot of effort into, something important to me.
Was there anything that I did that like specifically communicated like how important like sewing had become to me?
To Um, I guess I communicated about just seeing the effort you were putting into it, like, um, the amount of like time you would put into it, like to critique your work and go back and say, oh, let me try it this way. Let me, make this adjustment. You kept trying to uh, you kept trying to hone your skills in it, like every way, every step of the way.
Hmm.
And so I think seeing that is like, oh, it's not like, so, today I'm gonna try this one. I actually don't like it. You know what I mean? It was
Hmm.
like, okay, today I tried this, it didn't work out. I'm frustrated, but yeah, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try it a different way this time. And so
Hmm.
it was like always effort put into sewing to develop your skills. So that's when it was like, oh, this is not just something that, it's not a passing thought, you know what I mean? Or like
Yeah.
a passing hobby. This is something that she's passionate about. So
Hmm. Do the random leftover scraps crowd your shared space? They do not.
how you gonna answer for me? Just,
I mean, I feel like that's a shared answer.
I mean, yeah, because it's so well, yeah, I'll say like this.
Yeah, I
There's a
feel
lot of scraps in the garage.
right. But I
So
also feel like the only reason why there's a lot of scraps in the garage is because we don't have that recycling solution for them.
right, right. So
And that if there was like an easy way to recycle the smaller scraps, then they would be gone.
yeah. I mean, there's got to be a way to like someplace out there that either takes them and just like shreds them into like
Yeah,
something,
anything.
yeah, to recycle into like because they have like those.
I was talking about it on Instagram, and there were a couple of people who mentioned something like some services that did like the turning them into
Yeah,
like different things.
yeah,
Um, so I have to reach out to see how I can kind of donate those. Also, if you know of someone who or a company that does that, please make sure that you drop a comment with that because I do mean that. Yeah, but I also kind of feel like I don't really like to have my stuff strewn about the house because I don't like for the kids to touch my things.
yeah, right.
So I'm, you know, even
But
with
I guess,
like scraps, I don't really like for her to take my scraps without my permission.
oh yeah, and she will just sneak scraps to make her doll
Yeah,
messes. Well, I don't think strewn about the house. No, it's confined to the office or the garage. But that's when I would have bagged it up, you know what I mean, and
yeah.
put it away. So
So, do you have the same creative vision or drastic opposite ones?
same creative visions.
I think that I feel like the question is like, do we have a similar aesthetic or like eye for aesthetics?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that I have a warmer
Yeah.
aesthetic, whereas I think that yours is cooler, not in the sense of like you're a cold person. I mean, obviously you're super cool, but like cooler in the sense of like more, I guess, like modern and sleek,
Yeah.
whereas I like more homey and warm
Yeah.
feeling things.
I think the only overlap is I think we both like certain birth tones.
Yeah,
Outside of that, I think
right.
yeah, we have different.
But I also think that you like my aesthetic. Not saying that you like my aesthetic better than yours, because like I feel like in designing the house stuff, you're pretty in line with like the things that I've chosen.
I think it was yeah, because I think with designing the house, it was a lot of your styles, but a lot of colors that I liked. So that I think
Mm,
that was the trade-off there,
hmm
because there was a lot of the warmer earth tones and the deeper colors, but it was the styles, not say super modern kind of
Yeah. So Sue asks, can we see hubby's creations sometime?
creations.
Right now, the only thing that he has manifested as far as a creation are our kids. He actually used to draw though.
Wow, that was many moons ago. Um, creations. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's most like used to code very little. So I mean,
right.
outside of say coding, it's about the only other creative aspect I would used to get into, or just more recently. So
Mm. So she also asks, do you sew or just admire your sewist wife?
just admire my soloist wife. That's an easy one to do.
Although, so you have asked like what I would do if I walked in one day and you were just in there sewing.
I don't think you would like that at all, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah,
Why do you say that?
because I think part of you would be like, why is he sewing, knowing that he could ask me for anything and I would sew it. So I think part of you would be like,
Anything besides, of course, hemming the curtains.
oh, that's been like God knows how many years ago. I think we both have been like, we're not gonna eventually I'm just gonna like be super surprised one day and just see them hemmed and be like, oh my God.
Surprise, surprise.
Right. I'll be like, kidnap my wife. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think you would, to be honest. Like, what is it that you need that you why are you touching my Bernina's?
Thanks.
So I don't think
I mean, I will say that if you cut out whatever it was that you were sewing really well, I would definitely be like, hey, can you just cut out all these projects
this
for me? I'm like, don't get me wrong, using my projector is so helpful, but like most of the time I just don't feel like cutting out patterns.
kind of pattern.
Yeah, especially like the patterns that have like 1,000 pieces. I'm just like, oh, I gotta cut all this out.
So you mean like the ones you have to print or
No, just like even the ones that are like, especially the one my tissue patterns. The reason why I don't do a whole lot of those is because it's just so many pieces
yeah,
that you got to cut out.
yeah.
So, okay, so Kizzy asks, does your wife make poppin' outfits for you and do you wear them?
Poppin' outfits. Wow. Phrase poppin' outfits. Um I mean I'm not a poppin' outfits kind of guy, to be honest. So I don't want to say no, but I mean like I'm more I guess laid back in my outfits, I guess. So she kind of creates or tailors things to what I like. So um, I feel like now you have to make me a poppin' outfit just to say like she created a poppin' outfit for me. You know what I mean?
I
But
feel like that's just your way of trying to get me to make you a suit.
a suit. I mean, if you want to, that's a
Mm.
lot. That's a lot to it.
Listen, after Julian's suit, I feel like I can, right? But I'm also like, Julian's suit looked so good on him. It fits so well.
Mhm.
And like even these other outfits he's been making, he's been on this like vest and like kind of like wide leg pant,
Mm.
like nice straight leg, well tailored pant look, which just looks glorious.
Mm.
And I'm just like, I could even see you because of course, I love a vest. Um, and of course I'm saying he knows that I love a vest because like when he asked me what I wanted him to wear for our wedding, I was like, I don't want you to wear a suit jacket. I want you to have on a vest and like pants and like either a bow tie or a tie, But I'm like, maybe I can get into making some of that. We'll see if that's a popping outfit.
That would pop. I mean, you made Julian's pants. That was pretty popping too.
Those were nice.
Yeah.
What hobby outside of TV entertains you while your wife sews? That's a good question.
Outside of TV,
Hmm.
um, I guess reading would be the other hobby. I'd say reading, although now it is a lot of books on tape
Hmm.
or audiobooks. So
Guys, he likes these.
you're about to like let me stop you there because you're about to say like some way clown me in shape or form because I like the audio dramas. I knew you were going there right off the bat. So let me stop you there. One, and not let you set up whatever you're about to set up to make me sound like, you know, I'm 90 years old. Okay. So first and foremost, no. Audio dramas are interesting and they're just like books read by multiple people. That's the only difference between audiobooks. You read audiobooks and they're fine. I read audio dramas and all of a sudden I'm 90 years old. So let's not go down that route.
But also, like, I thought it was kind of weird. So I listened to, what was it, The Wedding?
The wedding, something like that.
Yeah, the book that was after The Notebook.
Oh, that one, yes. Is it called what?
I think it's called The Wedding.
Okay.
And so listening to that, and even as they played music in between the chapters, I was like,
What is wrong with that? What
why
is
is
so
that? What? Why is this like playing music? That is so weird.
why is that weird?
Because I don't feel like any of that belongs in audiobooks.
In this sense, it's not saying just an audiobook. It's a um, like back in the way back in the day, how like people used to listen to radios for like the shows. It was like it's kind of like that. It's like an audio show, so it's not just an audiobook. That's what I look at it because you're thinking like there's not just talking. This is weird. That's your mindset of it. It's
Yes,
like it's a show. So if you
that
were watching a show, now think of this: you're on your laptop, you're doing something else on your phone, and you're watching a show in the background. Technically, you're not looking at it; you're just listening to what's going on. There's music, there's different people talking, there's all these things happening, but you're not looking directly at the screen. You're just listening to it via, you're just listening to it because you're preoccupied doing something else. It is the same thing.
it doesn't feel like that
Why?
because one, they're always terrible. Like they always have terrible acting. They're
We, I remember you had the one by, what's his name?
no,
Chris Pine.
I didn't listen to that yet.
I mean, there's like actual actors who do this, you know?
I mean, like I get that, but just because you're like a face actor doesn't mean that you're an excellent voice actor.
I mean, see, it's not it's still acting in a sense. You know what I mean? Because the same way that it's the same premise. If they were acting and you're not looking at the screen, you're still hearing everything that's happening. You know what I'm saying? So Chris Pine's voice is still his voice.
Yes, but sometimes like actors and actresses just like it's like they're pretty privileged that makes them good actors or actresses, if that makes sense.
Remy Malek, not to badmouth anybody, but Remy Malek is a good actor. He does one as well. Mr. Robot,
Yeah.
and like he's interesting. So I don't think he's pretty privileged.
No, he doesn't have pretty privilege. He is so funny looking.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, like, well, I mean, to each their own. And how they think. I don't know the term.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's it.
I did.
Yeah. So yeah. So, I mean, like, I don't think he has that option. Chris Pine by his might, but still.
But I mean, he played like Mr. Robot. That was so brilliant.
Yeah. So, it's a good actor who does branching out. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll use this opportunity to ask you if you have any questions for me,
oh, questions in relation to Sunny.
or I guess, sure.
um, I guess what has been your most challenging project as of late? Why was it challenging?
Um, man, most challenging part. I feel like right now the biggest challenge that I have isn't really necessarily a project, honestly, because I feel like I haven't been sewing nearly as much. But I feel like getting the sizing and the fit right for bow has been really hard, right?
Mm.
That's been a really big challenge for me because um like learning one how to sew or how to create patterns that are adjusted for his body type because he is thicker, but just because he's got a 34-inch waist doesn't necessarily mean like his groin measurements are the same as like an adult male who has that waist size, right? So making it so that he feels good in his clothes and they fit right, I feel like that has been a huge challenge. And I don't feel like I've had consistent success with it. So it's been hard.
You said consistent success. What is good? What piece?
Like even so thinking about like the clothes that I did for him for spring break, right? And so if you guys are wondering what clothes I made for him for spring break, it's up on my YouTube channel. But like one of the pairs of shorts, he busted straight through.
Yeah, and he's very like, a super active kid.
Right. But I feel like if they fit well and there was enough ease in the pattern, right? Then we wouldn't have to worry about how rough he was playing. You know what I mean?
Is it the material you think, or was it like they have like a full 2-way stretch, 4-way stretch, or something
It
like
was woven so it had no stretch.
that?
And so I do think that like not saying it's hard to fit plus size bodies in tailored looks, right? But I will say that in a fitted, less stretchy option, like you got to be sitting down. Like we're not out here
Right.
doing like, you know,
It's not that good.
right. So I do think that it is like a thing of he should probably be in knit fabrics that have, either two-way or four-way stretch. But I do want him to also have confidence when he's wearing those things as well, right?
Yeah, and I mean the pants, because I think the pants didn't have the
The
same
pants,
stretch.
oddly enough, fit
They fit
great.
great. You know what I mean?
But I did
Like
the exact same thing for the shorts.
that's why I think it's mostly just the material. Not to say like what was created, it's
Yeah.
just the material that caused that had the issue. So, um, because I know with the pants, he's like, oh, I can't. I think in his mind, all shorts are created equal, which is definitely not the case. I don't think he realizes that. So he's like, oh, I got shorts, I can, go crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think with him having the shorts, having I guess a more free or giving stretch. You know what I mean?
yeah,
For all of his shorts is probably his best option, just with the fact that he thinks all shorts are not as restrictive. I can go crazy, not
right,
realizing like no, these are still nice tailored
right,
shorts.
yeah,
So like I said, with pants, he realizes, oh, I can't go nuts. These are my nice pants.
right.
Don't go crazy.
Yeah,
He treats them fine. So yeah, it is tricky though because wanting him to be you feel good in his skin, and whatever he's wearing. So
yeah.
still big. So yeah.
Mm. So let me ask you one final question. What is your favorite thing about being married to a sewist?
I think I guess I'll go back to the creative side. Seeing seeing your creativity, I guess, manifesting through clothes is
Hmm.
really interesting. Some of the pieces you make, you know, I was like, when did you buy that? You're like, oh, I made it. I was like, oh. So I think seeing the journey from where it started to where it's now, I think is
Yeah.
the most exciting piece of that because it's gone from like, oh, wow, that's nice, babe. And it was good back then. I'm not going to say that it wasn't. It was good. It was great. But I think seeing from where it was to where it is now,
Mm,
and like I said, it was something important, and you put a lot of time and effort into it.
yeah.
So it's changed kind of leaps and bounds. So I think seeing that journey, and I, seeing a new piece, I'm like, okay, I don't see any bags out, so this is definitely not purchase. She made this, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And still, I like that confused feeling. Like, did you buy this? Oh no, okay, there's no tag when she made this, you know.
Yeah.
Or it says like sewn by Aaronica in the tag. I was like, oh, she's made this. So I think that's still, I think that's part of it. And and I think for the kids, and no shade to my mom, but I think for the kids to be able to say, hey, can I get this piece? Like,
Hmm.
it's still I think you know I think the best part because during summer, well, the trip that they went on,
Yeah.
and all that stuff they had to make. She's like, oh, I'm just gonna make other clothes. I was like, okay. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, no, no, let's go. It was like, okay, it's
Yeah.
seeing all these pieces made in like a couple days. I think it was still the coolest part. And like, little Missy who's gonna have her dress in a few. It's next week, right?
No, I have, it's the week after Fractals.
So the week of the 6th, night 6th.
Maybe it's the week after that.
Okay, it's like mid-May, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But like I said, her being able to say, "Oh, I want this, that, and the other," and
Hmm.
knowing that she can get what she's looking for. Still, I think the best part of being part of marriages is.
Hmm. I like that too. All right. Any closing thoughts?
Um, I hope I did well, and Julian's like, "Let me get my voice back," because he was terrible. I hope we didn't get to that point. So yeah, it was fun.
Well, I enjoyed having you on. I think it was fun to hear your answers to the questions. And again, many, many thanks to you all who are listening, wherever it is that you're listening at. And I don't know if I have any like deep parting words, like, of course, my dear friend and brother Julian would impart on you. But I will say that don't let current situations hold you back from future greatness. You might be in one area today, but that doesn't mean that tomorrow you can't be in someplace different if you make a different decision. The beautiful thing about life is that we have choices in every day that we can make that will change our future. So make audacious choices and really embrace the audacity of your future. And with that, happy sewing.